Introduction. The intention of this book is to offer readers an alternative lens through which to view rock climbing, distinct from the perspective provided by modern climbing culture. By exploring climbing and nature through philosophical ideas, I aim to introduce the possibility of a metaphysical way that stands in opposition to the pervasive despair and nihilistic materialism evident in climbing walls and on crags across the UK. My hope is that this book will serve as a metaphorical finger pointing toward transcendental ideals and cosmic archetypes which can be discovered through direct contact with nature in the extreme situations found in traditional rock climbing. Truth is not a product of the human mind. René Guénon. Traditional climbing in Britain developed independently from its continental European counterparts, characterised by a clean minimalist approach and a commitment to the ethos of leave no trace. John Menlove Edwards, a psychiatrist, writer and climber who pioneered cutting-edge routes in North Wales, embodied this philosophy. He emphasised self-discovery and the pursuit of aesthetic experiences through discipline, a profound connection with nature, and a focus on adventure over achievement. The mainstreaming of rock climbing has transformed it from an esoteric and often sublime endeavour pursued by a select few into a sport for the masses, akin to what skateboarding has become. In many ways, I support this shift. The sanitisation required to monetize climbing culture creates honeypots of activity to attract the masses, allowing the moss and magic to return to quieter places, offering renewed potential for isolation, adventure and discovery. In her work Sexual Personae, Camille Paglia describes the fascism within nature, using the metaphor to illustrate the harsh, indifferent, and often violent reality of natural laws. Traditional rock climbing, as advocated in this book, represents man's Nietzschean will to power meeting nature's elemental forces, offering a rare opportunity to encounter the sublime. This work explicitly rejects the total democratization of nature, the primacy of science and empiricism, philosophical materialism, and the notion of personal truths as promoted by subjective relativism. Progressive ideologies seek to destroy our traditions and desacralize the relationship between man and nature, paving the way for dark forces that view unsuspecting climbers as units of energy to be exploited for data and capital. In the age of hypermodernity, man has become God, and his technologies offer endless opportunities to manufacture reality. The modern climber embraces a self-referential mode of being, where his online profile creates an infinity mirror effect, reflecting and reinventing the individual, adrift in digital currents, subliminally guided by the algorithmic invisible hand. I propose that by rejecting the doctrine presented by modern climbing culture, man is freed from its manufactured goals. This internal liberation paves the way for a new becoming, animated by the spirit that cuts through life. The modern climber becomes the differentiated man, self-reliant and actively seeking esoteric experiences. The differentiated man aspires to be a sovereign individual, unaffected by trends and mass culture. He seeks to reject materialism and cultivate a detached, warrior-like ethos. He embodies a synthesis of action and contemplation, individuality without egotism, and strives to live authentically in an age of decline. For the modern climber aspiring to exit the matrix, the journey begins with recognizing that he is in this world, but not of this world. The pursuit of rock climbing takes on a higher purpose, to shape the soul and hone the will to a fine edge. Moving with self-possession, he embraces adventure, danger, and uncertainty. Guided by a dedication to self-knowledge and communion with nature. Traditional climbing practices align the modern climber with nature's rhythms and historical cycles. By animating the past in the present and looking skyward from a foundation of esoteric knowledge, he invites a connection to a timeless metaphysical absolute.